for some people who still wanted to perform. I think we can carry this over to December. And you know how it is in the festive season. This is going to be a lot of performances, a lot of people coming and willing to share, and a lot of people coming here to be inspired. So I'd like to just end by calling Chantal to just give a bit, just a few minutes of her time to talk to us about, it really stuck in my head. And that quote said, you spend the longest time of your life, let's say 99.9% of your life is spent inside your head. It's spent inside your mind. So make sure that is a good place. You know what I mean? Make sure that is a good place. And I just want Chantal to share with us a few words she has on this performance, but also experience, and listen to young people come and open up and say how they have different ways of dealing with, you know, in terms of mental health, whether you're in a bad mood, whether you're depressed, whether you're going through something. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Hi.
Are you having fun?
Yes.
I'm really thrilled to be here. I'm actually very emotional. Not because I'm sad, but because I feel relieved. Relieved in a way that I'm glad to see that young people are taking this thing called mental health in their hands. A big shout out. I visit Rwanda many times a year, maybe 3 times a year, and I always wondered, where are the young people in this quest called mental health? And I have to thank the organizers, the Spoken Word Rwanda, because creative expression is one of the best therapy in the world. We can do talking therapy, we can do treatment, we can do any type of therapy, but creative expression is one of the top. And I have to applaud you guys for having this evening and having those ideas. And also, you call this space a safe space. That's what we need to start the dialogue, where you feel safe to come and be yourself. The poem from King touched me so much, because as an adult, I know how you feel when we talk about you guys. Chachana. It really touched me so much, and it challenged me to be the voice to change those criticisms about young people. It's a different generation, we shouldn't just be criticizing you guys. As I said, I'm glad to be here. I've been in Canada for 20 years, but my spirit lives in Rwanda, and I visit Rwanda so many times a year, whenever I can. And also, I'm raising young adults, three of them in university. And also, in mental health, what I did in in Canada, I did many things, working from the mental health hospitals, in the community, drugs, like I did everything you can name it, autism, developmental challenges. I worked in different variety of things. Now I'm working in dementia and Alzheimer's. But what I have offered tonight is to be available with my expertise to answer a few questions. Those who want to know the work I do, I'm a founder and the president of it's a new organization, it's non-profit, working with the youth in trauma. It's called Baka Youth Ministries, but we do welcome everyone, every young people who may have some symptoms or some effect of trauma. In that range, I just completed a study about trauma transfer. Those kids who are born from survivors and they transfer trauma to their offsprings. So the study is available. I can share it with the organizers, and you guys can have access to it. It's a lot of numbers and a lot of science and a lot of statistics, but also you can get some sense of where we stand in Rwanda about trauma transfer. And that concerns you guys immediately because you are that generation of post-genocide. I also published a few articles in the KT, in Kigali Today, about mental health. It's a series of, I think, 4 articles in the section called Voice. You can go on KT online and find out those articles. So I'm offering myself, if you have few questions, because I believe when we come here, we come with expectation. Yes, having fun, listen to the earth, but also we may have some burning questions. I offer my expertise for you guys to ask me a few questions for the time we have. And I will be glad to answer them if I can, as much as I can. And if I can't, I can promise you to find out. But for now, I will welcome a few questions if there's some burning questions, if the organizers allows me.
Yeah, a couple of minutes before we wind up. We have to be done by 10, which is a couple of minutes, less than 5. Does anyone have any burning questions regarding mental health or trauma or depression or alcoholism? Are you dealing with an issue you'd like to address in this particular space to Chantal right now? Does anyone? Yes, I was about to say, yes, Gatete. Sorry. You actually have to come here for the reverb.
Unfortunately, in Rwanda, either you're okay, mentally stable, or urumusaiz. That's so the spectrum is not something that we understand. In reality, we all have a degree of madness between going wild on the street naked and functioning. Some people are functional, but they have mental problems. In other societies, people routinely go to visit psychotherapists like yourself. In Rwanda, people don't do that. They find the bar for alcohol, or they find the church, God, and some people go to have a haircut and wash their hair. So it also helps. But so the question is, how can we allow people to feel free to seek mental, I would call it mental accompaniment? Like every now and then, I spoke to a psychiatrist called psychotherapist called Gasibireje, an old man, and his job is to listen to people and provide counseling. He told me that every year he also goes to his own psychotherapist to receive the same treatment. But in Rwanda, even if I went to a psychotherapist, I will not reveal it in public because people would say, no musas. Unfortunately, because we can't seek that service in between that spectrum, indeed we come from being known as okay to becoming homosexual. I have many colleagues who have become abasas, and I know them while they were not abasas. So what can we do about this? Thank you.
Thank you so much for the important question. In one of my articles, I put out some suggestion of what we can do to actually fill that gap, comme tu le dis, le service d'accompagnement ou de dépistage précoce. What I have suggested is to have mental health integrated in what we call primary health care. When you go to consult for malaria or any other issue, cough or whatever, somebody will do a screening of mental health. Are you sleeping? Do you have an appetite? Are you sad? Are you happy? So just some screening tools we use for depression screening or other screening tools, and that is lacking. And there's something I would add on your question. Even those abasazi, once they have received the treatment, there's no follow-ups in the community. So you have to be umusazi to be able to be followed up. So we have to fill up those gaps because sometimes there's some psychosis crisis which happens suddenly because the person doesn't have awareness to recognize symptoms before the psychosis. But there are many times, most of psychosis have symptoms which comes prior to the becoming omusazi. So we need to be able to recognize those symptoms before it gets too late. So you are very right. Those services de dépistage précoce are missing. Services d'accompagnement are still missing. But I'm hoping that with all the investment and the talking coming together like this, we are trying to get our thoughts together so we can do something about it. And I think our voices will be heard in the community, in the leadership. I'm not sure if I answered, but you are right. It's missing. One more question, just one.
Good evening.
Hello.
So I just wanted to ask you if there were maybe three tips that you could give that would kind of aid good mental health. What would they be for just the average person?
So there's a course we offer which is called First Aid, Mental Health First Aid, and it is offered to everyone. Everyone can take that course. But there are a few things you can watch, especially because we're talking about the brain. Usually our brain is the engine of the body. It gives the signal to the body that there's something wrong. If you wake up in the morning and you have a backache, your brain will send a signal through neurotransmitters to say that, hey, be careful, your back it hurts today. But sometimes when you have some mental health issues or mental illness, you are the last person to recognize your own symptoms. So it takes someone next to you or a good brother, a good sister, brothers keepers to say, hey, so-and-so is changing, the behaviors are changing, they're becoming isolated, they're more quiet, they're more weird, they're more short-tempered. So there's someone who will recognize that things are changing in you. Not necessarily yourself, but somebody else will do. So that's why it's important as a community to come together for recognizing symptoms, but you have to be aware of the symptoms. So the tips are just to observe and have that alarm going on or going off if something is wrong. If your friend is more acting some weird ways, always attend to them and say, is everything okay? Do you want to talk about it? Is something going on in your life? That's important for us as collective, as a community, to be brothers keepers.
Two last questions, or one question and one comment, and we lock it down. I understand, like you said, and I think what a lot of the poems say is like, we're a society where you don't just talk and share, and it's understandable. But I think so far, Chantal, for you, some of the points you've raised and some of the points people have raised it's very refreshing. So we're just going to get two last comments. So Martine, you will give your, since I'm here, I'll let Martine give her, it's not a question, it's a comment, and then we'll end by the lady in the front seat.
nshobora kuvuga mu Kinyarwanda.
Nta kibazo rwose.
Murakoze. Ndashaka gushimira Spoken Word Rwanda. Ntabwo munzi ariko ndashaka gutanga nk'ubuhamya. Like Spoken Word Rwanda yabaye ahantu ho gukirira. Atari gusa muri iyi theme no mu zindi zose. Uburyo nkiriramo ndandika. Ariko burya iyo wanditse kuri journal yawe urivugisha nta nubwo umenya ko basha kumenya ko wakize. Ubwo rero nagira ngo nshimire Spoken Word Rwanda muri urugendo rwose kuva igihe cyose mwamboneye nuko mwari muri kunkiza. Not only for this particular Thursday, kuva igihe cyose Spoken Word Rwanda yabayeho, noneho nasoma nkabona muyise famille, byayise ikindi kintu gikomeye. Ntabwo mfite a big family. Okay, mfite the proof is that now I'm speaking English. Yes, I'm a French speaker. Ndi n'umunyarwandakazi. Ariko sometimes English poems kuko nizo ziri nyinshi cyane hano muri Spoken Word najyaga nkunda kujya kwandika nkumva binjemo ngo nandike mu cyongereza nkakoresha utuvokabulary duke cyane mfite nkabasha kwandika ikintu kimfashije mu cyongereza kubera ko nisanga muri famille yanjye. You will all receive my text nubwo nakora text itajyanye na grammaire mu cyongereza. No one will laugh at me. You will listen to me and you will help me. You will heal me. That I'm feeling comfortable. I'm here to confess you are a big and a helpful family for me. Mentally speaking. Yes. Thank you. Ni comment ngira ngo mbabwire nubwo ushobora kuza mutazi ikintu kikuzanye ukumva ntabwo bikujemo ukagira ngo ukunda gusa poem ariko ngewe ndi hano and be proud of what you are because you have made me something different from what I was before. Thank you. Spoken Word family.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Martin.
Thank you.
Yeah, so our last comment for tonight is at the front here. Is it you? Okay.
I had a question. It's not a comment.
Go ahead.
Many times when we're talking about mental health, we advise people to approach the people with symptoms by telling them to, by encouraging them to speak out, to tell about what they're feeling and what they have in their minds. So I was asking, but there's a side of the person who's suffering from those symptoms. How do they have the courage to talk about it? Or how can we encourage them to talk about it? Or how can we understand them when they even don't know how to express that?
Thank you. That's an important question too. There's a platform like this one, you know your friend better. So when you approach someone who is struggling with a mental illness or mental health, you approach them with love and compassion. No judgment, no reasoning. Just be there and be present. You can ask them to talk to the family doctor or whoever is attending to them, to a clinician or whoever. The clinician will be able to channel them to the right services. Anybody in the clinic, maybe a nurse or a doctor, whoever will be able to channel them to the right services. But the best way to approach it, like King yavuze ngo cyacana. Rimwe na rimwe natanze ikiganiro hano muri me cyerekana ibintu bya drugs, substance use abuse disorder. Abantu barakubwira ngo uriya nawe yigize umusinzi dore ko yabaye yongeye yasinze. They don't understand ko gusinda ari mental health. Addiction, it's a real mental health issue. It's not an issue of just someone yabaye cyacana cyangwa yigize nabi. No. Kumutuka rero no kumubwira nabi no kumugira punishment measurements or measures, it's not going to work. You have to approach them with compassion, care and love. And then non-judgmental and no reasoning. Kumubwira ngo urumva rero ibintu ukwiye kubireka bivemo ni bibi cyane, it's not going to work. Kuko yaba arashoboye kuba yabivamo yakabikoze. Kuba atarimo kubasha kubikora rero nuko byamurenze. Right? So I'm going to come just a few seconds kuri comment avuze ya platform ukuntu yamufashije. It's important to belong. Kubera ko iyo umuntu wese afite mental health issues, they tend to isolate themselves. But when you feel you're belonging to a place where you can be yourself, that helps a lot. So near mpamvu iyi platform, it's very, very important to start the dialogue. And I really applaud the organizers. Thank you.